back to the Calvin Crypto video. I hope you guys are doing well, and today we're back with another banger PulseChain video, giving you guys the latest and greatest of crypto news. And looking at the market today, it is a great start to the week. Bitcoin up 1.4%, currently at its all-time highs. Ethereum, on the other hand, catching up with a higher rate of growth, which is great to see, because of course that is a sign of the fact that we are transitioning into the Ethereum season, which is a preceding step of the altcoins. Guys, you need to understand, every 4 years we have one altcoin season, primetime altcoin season, yes, with 2 waves, but it happens every 1 year. So we're going to make the best out of it. This is why the people who've been watching my channel for such a long time, guys, my bet is clearly in PulseChain, the best place to be. Cycle 1 narrative, a new layer 1 solution, fork of Ethereum. We're EVM compatible, gives us that longevity attribute. We're the younger brother to Ethereum that can do everything Ethereum can, but even more. We're here to stay, guys. This is more than an investment to me, but of course, we're all here because we care about number go up. And I'm going to talk about the things, the events that happened today and the past couple of days are very bullish. So watch the whole video through. Thank you very much for tuning in. So yeah, moving on to other things. How is PulseChain doing? Not expecting too much. It's more or less kind of a neutral, consolidating, but actually EHEX is very green today. We're going to cover that. Is something to do with BankX, if you guys already know, a notorious whale that's been dumping very, very slowly. But today is a very special day that I'm glad happened sooner rather than later. And looking at the prices, yes, we are still under in the neutral in the fear and greed index. Bitcoin, as I said, in all-time high, 125k. Let's go. This is really great. And Ethereum catching up, $4,700. We're going to quickly look at the ETH BTC ratio. It has starting to climb up by 2.7% in 1 day, 0.037. This is a great sign for the for altcoins. You can see this is kind of my target, kind of going back to its all-time highs in the previous cycle. And yeah, look at this. Bitcoin dominance is down 0.69%. Nice. And yeah, total crypto market cap is basically in its price discovery. Okay. Or it's in a market cap discovery because it's breaking its all-time highs. We've covered that in the previous video. Currently at 4.23 trillion. Very, very good stuff. Now, looking at other things, we're going to start with this piece of news from Crypto Solve. Says, a day we never thought we'd see coming. BankX has finally finished selling the last of their EHEX. Presumably it's a straight shot to all-time highs within the week now, or is this the sell the news kind of deal? But yeah, this is crazy. We finally have BankX fully sold out of his EHEX bags. It felt like it was being suppressed a lot by these disgruntled whales. That they're finally out. It's better that they sold. Now we're going to see a clip from Richard Hart where he basically is addressing this exact issue. But yes, this is really, really great news. Moving on to another tweet from Crypto Solve. Says, probably nothing. Just a bit of shuffling of the all accounts on a Monday. Keep selling though. Here he's hinting us this is a movement from the sacrifice wallets. They're active. Is it an AI bot? Is it Richard Hart? Is it a multi-sig? Is it the PulseChain devs? What's going to happen? You can see around 4.5 million moving around, 2.2 million worth of Ethereum moving around. Very, very exciting. How come am I not following Crypto Solve? I have no idea. Give him a follow, guys. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on this sacrifice updates as we go through. And yeah, we can move on to another tweet here from Ricky Tan. Says, good morning, PulseChain fam. Shaking people out isn't chaos, it's strategy. Richard Hart designed this game to reward the strong hands who delay gratification and understand the bigger picture. Every dip, every bit of FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, every test of patience, it's all part of the plan. Read between the lines. He wants you to win. Those who stay focused, disciplined, and unshaken will be the ones celebrating when the noise fades and the vision unfolds. Stay sharp, stay strong. The future is written in code and conviction. I really love this. Oh my days. And let's see the clip that he attached of Richard Hart.
Cryptocurrency is the highest appreciating asset class ever, and yet tons and tons and tons of people get shaken out. Maybe shaking people out is good for price.
i.e. BankX.
So let's analyze it. if you've got a guy that's going to sell no matter what, if you get that guy to sell early, he's going to impact the price less because his claim is worth less.
Simple. Thank you very much for that, our friend Ricky. Moving on to another tweet here from Grand Inquisitor says, all of you will look like cheaters for selling Pulse at the bottom or even at a 10x from here. Rich is not here for ant gains. You'll remember my words. And here's a clip they attached from Richard Hart.
If Ethereum did a 14,000x, which it has so far, why can't something that's better? And so I think a 14,000x is a reasonable estimate for what could be possible for Pulse, because that's what Ethereum did. And this is a very similar thing, but better.
And moving on to a tweet from DIY Investing says, core tokens are down, but not for long. PulseChain just capitulated below its original launch price. Weak hands are gone. Now price has reclaimed that zone and is sitting right under resistance. The next candle is the breakout. Very, very huge. And this is what I replied, because yeah, this is a really great chart. Very simple, but tells us a lot. And I said, one thing that comes to my mind when I see the graph, well, technically two things. The rate of testing the resistance level is increasing. The more you test a resistance level, the weaker it gets. Now moving on to a tweet that I made that captions Crypto Bitlord, where he says top 3 worst crypto traders and most useless accounts in crypto, and he actually tagged Richard Hart. And this is what I had to say, showing a screenshot of the sacrifice funds where, yeah, Richard Hart, as I mentioned earlier in this video, that he is up, or the sacrifice of PulseChain in general as an entity is up 149 or basically $150 million off of Ethereum, leveraging Ethereum's success. So this is what I had to say. I said, are you sure about that? Are you basing this because we're down in today's price? Okay, and guys, you watching my video, you probably should by now understand that price is not equal to value. Let me remind you, Ethereum is nowhere near its top. We are still transitioning from Bitcoin to Ethereum season, and C, Bitcoin dominance is still high. Therefore, today's price is not equal to value. PulseChain will shock people. There will be 2 types: the ones that are watching from the sidelines, the ones that are part of its history. And if you scroll down, I actually give examples as to why we are at these prices and why it actually makes sense beyond the reason, yes, that we're not in altcoin season yet. But yeah, this is what I said. For reference, here are some of the ratios of some altcoins versus Bitcoin, as that's what only matters to some of y'all. Solana/BTC is down 50%. Ethereum/BTC, which we just checked the chart, is down 56% from its previous all-time high from the last cycle. Pulse BTC, yes, it's down 80%, but guess what? XRP BTC is down 85%. But not only that, XRP actually didn't even break its all-time high in the previous cycle. Okay, it genuinely took 7 to 8 years to break that all-time high again. This is a reminder why being in a cycle 1 narrative is the way to go every bull run. Okay, because the highest growth potential happens in its first cycle. XRP did basically a 600x in its first cycle. Is it going to do another 600x again? No. Is the same thing going to happen with Ethereum and Bitcoin? No. The diminishing returns applies whether you believe in it or not. Okay, this is why I tell people being in PulseChain is my bet that I'm willing to take. No one can shake me out of this. That is it. Like, this is the bet that I'm taking. Okay, we've already seen a very successful 2024. Okay, I don't care what a lot of you guys are saying, it was very successful. Now, if you were only overexposed to the core tokens, you have only yourself to blame for that. Okay, remember what I told you guys? I taught you guys about being or mitigating against ecosystem level risk. And I was speaking a lot about the 4 horsemen of PulseChain, which is what? PDAI, Atropa, Bear, and PWBTC. Guess what all 4 of them did in 2024? Okay, PDAI did like a 200x, Atropa did like a 200x, PWBTC did like a 50 or 60x, and Tether did another 50 or 60x. Like, 2024 was very successful. And by the way, you got PTGC, where I made a video on them. I started talking about PTGC in 2023, end of 2023, when it was 400k market cap. Go count how many X's PGC did in 2024, when it, or actually in early this year, when it reached 300 million. And look at stuff like Finvesta, From September of 2024 up until February of this year, it did a 700x, and it's still up hundreds of x's in today's price. We have so many success stories. Now, don't get me wrong, we have so much more candles and, catching up to do in terms of the course, because yes, these are the blue chips. These are actually kind of the safest if you think about it, okay? But it takes time and it will have its own turn. Trust me when I say this, because of course, when Richard Heart starts rotating, is he going to rotate it into, like, let's say Teddy Bear or Atropa? No, he won't. He's going to rotate it to the main blue chips. At least that's what's going to happen theoretically. There's no guarantees, of course, right? And even more than that, it's a question of, are you going to be patient enough? Are you going to have time play on your side where you're going to hold up until that event happens, the positive feedback loop from the sacrifice funds? And as I continue with this tweet, I said, all it takes is just a 10x for our little 500 million market cap chain, and people will start acting like Richard Heart is the greatest founder, even though his message has never changed. Bitcoin started as a scam. Don't forget that both Hex and Bitcoin are inflationary. DeFi 3.0 is around the corner. I wonder what cycle 1 narrative will lead it. And I show the screenshot. This is the Sol BTC. You can see how it's down minus 51%. And then yes, I showed a screenshot here of Pulse BTC, which I have the chart right here. You can see that it is indeed, of course, down 83%. And then, by the way, to catch up to where Solana is down versus Bitcoin, is just a 3x from here. Okay, so it still is technically under sack rate for us to catch up to where Solana is. Okay, which is nothing. A 3x is absolutely nothing. And in other great news, by the way, today we are almost, EHEX and PDAI are almost 1-to-1, which is very, very crazy. Okay, and you can look at the chart. It's as if they're almost like pegged, like actually pegged computationally, like in some smart contract. We'll see what does that actually entail in the future. I'm very bullish on both, by the way, and even Atropa, he holds a lot of EHEX. Now moving on to Richard Hart's latest tweets today, says, scan.pulsechain.com, go test it. What works better now than it used to, and what would you like to see improved next? If you post anything off topic, you will be blocked. Okay, now I did say this, new PulseX V1 farms and a PulseX V3 front end. That would be huge. So guys, that'll be the end of the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Again, keep it nice, short and sweet. What do you think Richard Heart should add to PulseChain? Also, what do you think of the sacrifice funds? We're starting to see some movements. Is that them preparing for something much bigger? I'm so excited. I'll keep you guys updated. And of course, a big shout out to the man above. Trust in the process, trust in God, and take care. Bye.